Hey, what's up everybody? This is Iconic Repaints. Hope everybody's doing well. Today we're going to be looking at one of the most beloved Godzilla figures that X Plus has ever released. That's a big statement. But before I do that, just want to take a moment to remind everybody to like and subscribe if they want to see more videos like this. I appreciate it. And yeah, just allow me to harp on how big of a deal it is for me to be saying that this is like one of the most beloved X Plus figures that has come out. So of course, if you haven't guessed already, we're talking about the 25 centimeter Godzilla 1965 from the movie Invasion of the Astro Monster, or better known in the United States as Godzilla vs. Monster Zero. But before I get into all that, there's something, to be said about how popular this figure is, because think about it like this. Godzilla's been around for over 60 years. That's a lot of people who have been affected or impacted by a monster movie. So people who grew up, in the 50s, 60s, they have what their idea of Godzilla is. People who grew up in the 70s prefer the superhero Godzilla, the when he was at his fullest, kind of like Earth's defender. And then kids in the 80s and 90s were liking Godzilla for being the unstoppable force of nature. And now we have ancient alpha predator that's also defending Earth, which is the characterization of Godzilla in the current Hollywood movies. Some people like the Showa era, other people like the Heisei era. Younger kids or younger generations typically like the Millennium era because it's what they grew up with. So now we have an X Plus figure that's really, it's kind of really just pushed all that shit aside. Oh, this video is not for kids, by the way. Pushed all that shit aside, and everybody just really praised it. The moment it got announced and first shown off for the prototype, everybody thought it was perfection. And now here we are. Well, this figure came out late 2018, so I'm a little late. Story of my life. But needless to say, I now have hindsight, and the figure is still looked upon as being a masterpiece. I mean, look, I'm looking at it, and it's 25 centimeters, so it's about a 10-inch tall figure, and it scales perfectly well with their other 25 centimeter Godzilla figures, or other monsters from this Showa era as well, and it looks great with the King Ghidorah, Mothra, whatever the case may be. Very classic looking appearance too. Mind you, in the previous movie, Godzilla just kind of went from being a villain at the start of the movie to Earth's defender by the end of the movie. So this one, he shed the villainous skin, and he no longer has that demonic look to him, the pointy ears, the fangs of, you can't have that design and stick that into this movie, because Godzilla is, gone from tearing other monsters' throats out and setting their corpses on fire just 10 years prior to this. So now he's doing this. And so this is a dance that I guess was really popular in Japan in the 60s. So this, along with boxing, like shadow boxing, like Muhammad Ali, because he was also very popular in this time frame. Yeah, this Godzilla was really putting some new emotics out there. And so the look of the figure is very less aggressive than Godzilla's prior to this, from Godzilla's in the past. He doesn't look quite as menacing. He's a little more boxier looking, like a guy in a suit. It's looking a little more kind of less animalistic, I would say, because now the series has become about monster battles, like just two monsters wrestling around with each other, smashing miniature buildings. And mind you, the human plot will still have its all its themes and its narratives. But as far as the monster action goes, and there's really not a lot of it in this movie. I mean, it's probably, you know, there's one in the middle of the movie where they're fighting on another planet, and I think that's pretty much the only time you can say we've seen Godzilla fight on another planet. That's probably the most memorable scene in it. But then you have a little short, battle royale at the end. It's not really that much though. It's more human driven, which is what I actually appreciate about this movie. This is the movie that pretty much started the trope of having the aliens be directly the villainous, take the villainous role in the movie. And it must have been a really popular idea in Toho Studios because, I mean, science fiction broadly was starting to really kind of get into UFOs and aliens between the 50s and 60s. So Toho finally kind of caught on to it as well. And definitely really enjoyed themselves, I guess, because numerous Godzilla movies later on in the 60s and 70s would do this same kind of idea where aliens are trying to take over Earth or whatever the case may be, and here comes Godzilla having to reign all over their parade. So the idea for this is that you have a couple. The story follows a couple astronauts who find or help or discover Planet X. They go to Planet X. They befriend these aliens, and they just so happen to be attacked by King Ghidorah while they're on this planet. The aliens beg for the astronauts to go back to Earth and let them borrow Godzilla and Rodan to bring them back so they could whoop Ghidorah's ass and call it a day. And by doing so, these aliens will give mankind the cure to all disease. Very kind of them. Plot twist, of course, the aliens weren't ever intending to give humans the cure for anything. And now they have 3 monsters in their control that they just unleashed upon Earth. So it was a pretty stupid move. But, the movie's full of charm. You got your unlikely heroes. You have your very likable main protagonists. You have tragic characters. And then on top of that, you have the monster action to fall back upon. It was a successful formula that Toho would replicate over and over and over again until people couldn't take it anymore. But not that it was any of any importance at the time, but it did lead to them eventually, or somebody eventually, making this figure. And I really cannot praise it enough. I mean, there's no negative comments, there's no nitpicks. This thing straight up looks like it came out of the movie. The texture of the tree bark scales in the skin, the colors, the painting is fabulous. The teeth looks so realistic, like just to the suit. The eyes, this Godzilla has a particular color pattern on the eyes, and with the mustard yellow kind of tint around it, around the pupils, and I mean it's all there. This figure's kind of got it all. Of course, it came in like typical X plus fashion. It came in 2 versions. You could get the standard version, which is just a figure, or you could get the Rick version, which included this cool little Zillion. I'm not sure how you say it, but Mr. Exilian, I'm just gonna say that. Yeah, he comes with the figure. He's the main bad guy of the movie. So I thought that was pretty neat. I mean, little accessories like that are cooler than all the light up gimmicks. I hate the light up gimmicks. I mean, I think most of the time you end up paying more for the light up gimmick, and it actually makes the figure look crappier. And not only that, you don't even know if that light up gimmick's gonna work for a day, 2 weeks, a couple months, or if it's even gonna work at all straight out of the box. But needless to say, everybody's got their thing. And yeah, so years later, again, this came out a few years ago. This is the one that I think a lot of people, when they talk about top X plus figures, he's certainly in the conversation. And if we're narrowing it down to 25 centimeter figures, he's probably at the top of a lot of people's lists. And for people, that's saying a lot for how many people probably come in saying like, I'm a Heisei fan, or I'm a Millennium fan. But everybody wants this figure, and everybody's got nothing but heaps of praise for it. So X Plus has had some misses with some of their likenesses, but this guy was a grand slam, hole in one, great job. And yeah, so that's gonna wrap up this review. I'm trying to look to see who I haven't done yet. I actually thought I did this guy already, so I almost took the pictures and then deleted them because I was like, I'm pretty sure I did this review, and I had to check again, and nope, I was wrong. So here we are. And yeah, so until next time, guys, again, be safe, be well, and I'll be back. Peace.